Greetings, all new hammer, middle hammer, and old hammer folks. I am Old Grumpy Wolf, and welcome to the Minibar Podcast. I'll be serving you up lots of awesome painting nerdiness, talking to other painters around the web. But before we get started, I just want to plug baselayer.com. I should have been more, there we go, there's the window. I should have been more prepared for this. The baselayer.com is a social media website specifically for miniature painting. There are no weird advertisements for toasters from China. There's no pictures of other people's kids. All you do is like, interact, and post pictures of your minis, and it's a fun little site. It's been around for about a year, so yeah, if you want to go do social media with miniatures, go sign up. But in the meantime, on this episode of the Minibar Podcast, I have a very special guest who completely saved my butt. Let me introduce you to, there's the button. Okay, there we go. Let me introduce you to Lyla Mev. I'm pretty sure some of you guys know who she is. She's a pretty darn good Warhammer painter, and she's got her own YouTube channel where she does lots of tutorials. And yeah, if you don't know who she is, go look at her YouTube, but we get to talk to her. And I got to stop talking now. So hi, Lyla.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. This is really cool. I've watched your videos now for a couple of years and really enjoy them. Actually, my painting bestie likes your stuff a lot too. So it's actually really neat to talk to a big old fancy YouTuber.
I don't know if I'm a big old fancy YouTuber, but I am very glad to hear that you like my stuff.
Judging by your accent, you're here in the U.S. Whereabouts are you in the U.S.?
I am located near Chicago, Illinois.
Ooh, beef sandwiches. I miss beef sandwiches. No, we have, do you like Chicago pizza at all?
I don't, actually.
Oh, man. I'm a big sucker for Chicago deep dish.
No, I'm from Wisconsin originally,
okay.
And that is where I grew up. I moved to Illinois for grad school, so we bought a house, and now we're here, but food-wise, it's definitely Wisconsin, cheese curds, Friday fish fries, Wisconsin girl at heart.
Oh, okay. Growing up, did you ever watch Mr. Science Theater?
No, I did not.
It's that show with it's like a really bad movie, and there's like a little row of theater seats down in the front, and you got three guys, like two robots and a guy talking crap about the movie.
The closest thing I can come up with is the two Muppets up in the box seat offering quiz. That's the best I got.
I think it's the Bohemian Rhapsody version of the Muppets version of Bohemian Rhapsody, where at the end of the video it's those two guys and they're doing their heckle thing, like, keep hitting the dig button, maybe we'll get to bury this thing. So to start the show off with is, what got you into the hobby of miniature painting?
Sure. So what originally got me into miniature painting, I had a long, circuitous kind of route into miniature painting. I got my master's in fine art photography. I had just graduated from grad school, and I was looking for a new project to start. Mm-hmm. And I originally was going to start crafting, sculpting, painting, sewing, et cetera, ball-jointed dolls.
Oh,
so
okay.
I bought all of the equipment for that, and sucked immediately. I was terrible at it, and I'm the kind of person where if I'm not good at something immediately, I do not continue it. At that same time, my husband had finally convinced me, after years of wearing me down, to try Dungeons & Dragons. Mm-hmm. He told me, try one session, and if you don't like it, I'll never ask you to do it again.
Okay.
And so I tried that one session, and now painting miniatures has been my full-time job for 5 years. So you can see how it went.
That's very cool.
But all of that to say that I fell in love with Dungeons & Dragons, had all of these tiny brushes and specialty paints and everything, and was thinking, well, what else can I do with all of this? And that would be how I discovered that miniatures were a thing. Mm-hmm. And luckily, I was immediately good at it. The first model I painted had object source lighting, not because I knew what that was, but just because the figure was holding a skull that had flames coming out of its eyes. And so obviously, the flames would cast light. Like, I didn't even know that this was an advanced technique. It was just, that's how it would be. And luckily I was good at it immediately.
How long ago was that?
What's that?
How long ago was that?
I started painting in 2017.
Oh, okay.
So almost 10 years ago at this point.
You're just a baby at it. You're a new hammer
No,
folk.
I'm definitely not just a baby at it anymore. I would say I was still a baby. Well, I took my first commission after painting for about a year.
Oh, very cool.
So I hit things really hard. So I decided that miniature painting was it, and dove head first.
I wasn't talking about skill level. I was just talking about how long you've been into it for. I got into this stuff. I think I got my first set of epic scale minis. I got a box of Titans, the old Warlord Titans, and Mark 6 Sneaky Beakies with rhinos when I was like 11. I'm 44 on Saturday.
I've had the conversation where people are like, yeah, how old are you again, Lyla? Oh, I'm 34. I have been painting longer than you've been alive.
Oh man. Well, like with my automotive brand, like the younger kids getting into the cars and stuff, I'm like, I've been building these cars longer than most of you now have been alive. Ugh. I think once you pass that like 40-year mark, it just gets to the point where you're just like, oh man, oh crap. But this time around is actually, I think, hello. That's Mochi.
Yes, this is Mochi.
I want to squish. I want to beep the nose. I miss my fizz man. Long distance beep. Boop. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. Cat. But who cares?
We were talking about old enough or painting longer than you've been alive.
I think this time around, just getting back into painting in 24, I've learned more in this 2-year stint than I had in my previous stints. Like, obviously, there's like the foundation when you first start your first couple years as a teenager in the 90s. We didn't have people like you know, with YouTube videos and stuff. We had White Dwarf and the painting guides, and they were really vague. So you kind of had to guess at what they were doing, or, you know, you couldn't see somebody close up with, you know, actually painting on the miniature and whatnot. And then I got back into it. I got out of it in like my late teens and got back to it heavily like in my early and mid 20s. And I thought I was doing really good at that time. And I look at those figures now and I'm just like, there's a lot of laziness on these. Like and the neat thing now is like, I've eliminated the laziness that I used to have. So pushing for actually growing the skill versus like, just like, I'm going to be lazy. This just looks good. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, not saying you're a baby as far as like your skill level, because your stuff's actually really damn good. I like, I don't know which one it is. It's you use like a lot of like peaches, like pinks and yellows on the armor, but you have to think like a purple undertone, which really looks cool. Maybe it's a green undertone. Well, we'll find it in your Instagram. I really like that model a lot.
I was going to say that is unfortunately sounds like a lot of my color schemes.
No, the video, the pictures I use or your miniatures that I use for the cover for this video, I used your Sisters of Battle. I think she has a jump pack on, and your take on the female custodies you did.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have a really neat color scheme on both of those.
Yeah, Warhammer's coming out with official female custodies, and I'm so excited. Next year's Golden Demon piece has been decided.
I have some issues with the female custodies, but it's just because of GW's laziness. It's not because they decided to include them. It's just like their laziness of shoehorning them right on in instead of... Somebody made a really cool suggestion in a video. They said the way GW should have gone about this is actually like written like a Black Library book that was about the first female custodies, like back in, I don't know, let's say the Horus Heresy days. The first one created, and how she goes about socializing and interacting with her male counterparts, and kind of built on her character a little bit to where, you know, it's like, okay, we've got some lore. Now they're explained. Let's introduce the models instead of the 1984. I'm going to get yelled at for this. I know this, but the 1984 approach of like, we've always been at war with East Asia. Like, there's always been female custodies. No, there hasn't. You're being lazy. Just do it the right way. Make some lore. Come on. Like, make it worthwhile.
Well, I hope that they go back and make some lore.
Yeah. Instead of just sticking in the mirror and then making lore. No, make lore, get some hype going, you know, get us kind of excited, because that'd be cool. I'd read the book. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and then get some models going. That's the way they kind of used to do it. in the good old days when I was young. But anyway, it'll be interesting. Like when you do your female custodies, I'm really excited to see what you do with those, especially since they're like official models where you don't have to kit bash them together.
Right. I would have done a female custodies for this year's Golden Demon, but I couldn't find any heads that worked, which is, of course, the usual lament of I can't enter this or I can't paint this officially because there are no female heads scaled appropriately. So I'm curious if the new custodies, do they have women's heads that are larger, or did they just make all the models smaller and now none of the other custodies' heads will fit?
My guess is like they made the models larger.
I hope so.
Because they're supposed to be like, I think custodies are supposed to be slightly larger than Primaris. It's like they're like the next, they're the one step up from Space Marines, where like basically they're in power wise right next to the Emperor outside of the shape shifting abilities. But you don't mess with custodies.
Perfect.
So I think they made them larger because they said I read somewhere they said it's you can use them between both 40K and 30K, like game wise. So going into the second question is, did you get into the hobby because of gaming or painting?
Yes, definitely painting. So I specialized in portrait photography. Specifically, I was doing a lot of fashion photography and like fantastical photography. I was taking pictures of my friends and making them look like Marvel superheroes.
Oh, nice.
With lightning and all that sort of stuff. And so a lot of the color theory, the lighting, storytelling elements, a lot of that stuff that I loved in photography actually crossed over really well into miniature painting. And so I definitely started doing this because of my love of art and painting. And I've always loved tiny things. I mean, I was considering sculpting ball jointed dolls. I've always loved tiny things. And so I love spending hours and hours and hours glazing until everything is perfect and working on the little itty bitty eyes, and faces are my favorite thing to paint. So I just find painting very meditative.
You're kind of a rare breed out there. A lot of people who are, getting into painting or who are, in the beginning levels, they're like, they hate painting faces, and it comes down to doing the eyes, and they're like, oh, I hate doing eyes. I'll ruin the model.
So I always recommend doing the eyes first, because then if you mess them up, you can just strip the whole model. And people ask me, Lyla, have you ever messed up the eye so much you've had to strip? I have. That has happened to me. And if you say that it hasn't, congratulations. I don't know what you're doing, but I've had it where like literally I tried to dot the pupil and then get the white catchlight in the eyes to the point that it's like a cone pointing off the eyes because so many layers of paint. So just do the eyes first.
You said catchlight. My gal's really going to enjoy this episode. She's really into photography, so she's going to really dig all the stuff you're saying about it. The thing I always try to tell people about faces is like base coat the face, shade everything down, and then do the eye sockets the darkest of the brown, paint the white, paint the dots for the eye bibbles. And then if you have spillover, just retrace around the eye with your darkest brown, because it's a dark color. It's going to cover that white really easily. And then paint the rest of the face, because you're most likely not going to hit the eyeball.
Right.
So
it also depends on what you're painting for. When I'm painting for competitions, I'm currently working on my Golden Demon Beast entry Golden Demon entry and Resin Beast entry, and both of them are like this big. So it really depends. If I'm painting for the tabletop, usually what I do is I cheat for the tabletop and I just do black and then white, and I don't do
the
a
white
pupil,
on the sides.
do a catchlight, and I'm just like, good enough. And
it works.
I had a sponsor call me out on it once. They're like, hey, we want you to do the Lyla approach on this. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just paint the eyes white. And then they came back to me and were like, you didn't finish that. You said the Lyla approach, or the Lyla approach to tabletop is that this is the eyes. And they said, yeah, no, do it right.
You have your own named approach.
Yes.
Oops.
Exactly. Hi, baby.
He's a good man. He's just chilling.
That's because he's got his calm down shirt.
It's kind of like a swaddle, but he can still move.
Yes, basically. It's his thunder shirt, and the consequence is he's quiet, but you have to hold him. That's the trade-off.
Nice. That's when I go to my gal's house. It took me about 9 months, but her cat Sashimi Pickle. That's who I painted for anybody who's seen it. That's what I painted the space pickle after, is her cat. But it took me about he's very loving. He's kind of cuddly and all that. And it took me about 9 months to get him into sitting on laps. Just come here, bunk, like every time I come over a couple times a night. And finally it caught on. And now as soon as I lay down on the couch with my gal, here comes Shimi, boom, and he perches on my leg and just stays there. He's like, my leg, nope, and then if I have the blanket on it, he starts making biscuits and he stays there for like half an hour. So
both of my cats are the kind of cats where when you come through the front door, they run to greet you. They want to know who's here. They're super friendly, and Mochi will end up on your lap. Cardamom will grace you with his presence, but Mochi is all up in everybody's face and wants to be on everybody's lap.
Lap cats are the best. I love lap cats. Like when
Yes.
With Gizmo, he wasn't really a lap cat, but every morning when I got up and finished I have cereal and orange juice for breakfast every morning because that's how I am. Whenever I was done with my cereal, he would be right down next to me, looking up at me like, hey. I had to pick him up and I'd lay backwards on my chair and set him on my chest, and he'd lay down and make biscuits for about 5 minutes, and boop, that was his lap time. And then when I had Charlie was the permanent lap cat. As soon as I got home, I just laid him in I'd sit down at my desk and lay him with his feet up in my arm, and he just lay there going for the better part of like an hour or two, and we had to do that every single night. So, and I'm officially dubbing this part of the interview Cat Chat, because I have the one only other cat person who's had their cats interact on video was my guest I had on last week. Both of his cats were walking behind and in front of the behind him, and then in front of the camera as we were chatting. He's like, "Do you want to edit that out?" I'm like, "No, it's cats." Well, even the episode after this is Duncan Rhodes. His dog comes in and says hi.
When I first started doing YouTube, I have a background in marketing, and so it was, what are some things that I can use to differentiate myself? Mm-hmm. The most obvious one is that I'm a woman, and so that was very key in my becoming a bigger YouTuber, is because people went, "Oh my God, a woman!" Yeah. But the other one was cats, and so Mochi made many appearances in my beginning videos, and I'd get hate comments of, "Love your content, hate the cats, get rid of them," and I'm like, "You don't understand the marketing power that's going to be these cats." Yep.
With my automotive brand, it used to be for a good 2 or 3 years, like I'd make an update post of what I was working on, show pictures and whatnot, and then the last photo was always of my 2 cats. And I guess that was an actual thing on the internet. It was called cat tax.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was not privy to that until a couple of years ago. But yeah, it got to I stopped posting updates because I kind of stopped making new stuff for it. I would just do restock, and people are always like, "Oh, where's the cats at?" I'm like, well, it's not an update post. I don't really do updates anymore, so no cat tax. Yeah, mm-hmm. I made a post. I actually started a profile for cat photos for my gal's cats and mine, and it got very little attention. I'm like, you guys love my cats and want to see more pictures of them? Here's a new profile. It's all cats and cat art. Mm-hmm. And when we go out adventuring, we always take pictures of like stickers or graffiti or whatnot of people that have drawn cats or stuck up stickers of cats. So we post cat art plus our cats. And speaking of,
Mochi has a sticker and a T-shirt.
Ooh, I want a Mochi sticker. Moving on from the cat thing, and I've been curious, since you're one of the first major YouTubers I've had on, how did you get started? How did you get started with YouTube, and how did you kind of build it for anybody who's looking to do that? Give me 2 seconds.
So I went to grad school with the goal of becoming a college professor. Mm-hmm. So you have to have your terminate degree before you can become a college professor. And for the field that I was in, that was your master's. So came to Illinois, got my master's of fine art, wanted to go be a college professor. I had taught several classes. When I was in grad school, I taught for a semester at the local university. And then after that one semester, I was having a really hard time finding enough classes to make a reasonable wage. Like I could teach one class an hour one direction, and I could teach one class an hour the different direction, and then I could teach one class here in town. And that just wasn't feasible, especially with the weather in Illinois. Like I don't like driving in the snow, and so it just wasn't feasible. But I loved teaching so much. So I was trying to think about what else could I teach? And I was pretty good at this miniature thing and decided that I would be coming at it from a very different angle, because most YouTubers, I've been doing this for 5, maybe 6 years at this point. Most of them were men. As far as I knew, all of them were men. I did not know that Dana Howell had started at the same time as me. But so as far as I knew, they were all men, and they all started because they were into gaming. And I thought that I could offer something different and unique of coming at this from an art angle and being able to talk about art history. One of my first videos was talking about my favorite Baroque painter, Caravaggio, and how he uses light to sculpt his subjects and uses a black background to add mystery and all of these sorts of things. And so I thought that I could come at this from a unique angle that would make me stand out. Little did I know that actually there were a bunch of mini painters on YouTube. I thought, I'm like, there's Miniac, Black Magic Craft, and I think that there was somebody else. I'm like, there are 3 people making miniature content right now on YouTube. I'm going to be able to just slide right in. And no, there were so many, and I just, there were so many, and I just didn't know it. And so I think that the beginning of my success was the fact that I was a woman, and that people were going, oh my God, look, there's a woman making content. So, but I do think that it did eventually become, because I have a background in teaching, I am an excellent teacher. Like, just being able to consider how to break things down. And also I love giving lessons because people ask such great questions. I was trying to help a student learn to wet blend, and he was doing, it looked like we were doing the same thing, but I could not understand why it wasn't working for him. And then I realized it's because, I put my pressure on a specific point of the brush when I'm wet blending. And so once I explained this is where you put the pressure, he was able to do it. And so, women, unique approach, good at teaching.
Curious really quick with your teaching thing, what you just meant about the wet blending. Was he using the same paints as you?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It was many years ago. And we were doing it virtually. I do virtual private lessons. And so I don't remember.
Okay.
But if you're ever having problems with wet blending, use the whole belly of your brush. I like to think of it like I'm spreading peanut butter. Like, you don't just use the tip of the knife, because otherwise you're just going to get like these weird drag patterns. You want to use like the full edge of the knife. So that's how I recommend wet blending, is like spreading peanut butter. That's
actually really cool that you kind of got into this because of the teaching thing, and it really helped me throughout. Well, like my second round in like the 2000s, and then now, like, I love teaching people how to paint and like helping them out and whatnot. I think it's like, it's just really cool that, somebody can get stuck on the simplest thing. And this is like, this time around in helping people, now I have a comparison in that, like, the car scene, somebody can get stuck on something simple and silly. And I mean, mind you, with all the resources out there available now via YouTube and old internet forums and whatnot, it's like, take, I don't know, a couple of minutes to research it via Google search before you post about it, so you don't get flamed. But the guys who are like asking the simple questions, like the car guys will just dogpile on them and make them feel like crap for even opening their mouths. But in the painting scene, it's a lot different. And you never know. Somebody might be stuck on something that you find really simple or that you figured out years and years and years ago. And this person's been struggling with it for like 6 months, and you sit down with them for 5, 10, 20 minutes and just show them, examples and how to do it. You just you've helped somebody really jump a hurdle, come across a hurdle, or conquer something they were having problems with. And it's such a great feeling to be able to do that, especially now with, you mentioned like private lessons, and you can do it on Patreon, you can do it on YouTube, however you want to do it. You can show the top down, the God's eye view, or the straight down view of your hand painting. And it's no longer like White Dwarf where it's like, you just kind of read what they're doing. And it's like 3 pictures of like base coat, shade, done. It's like, that doesn't help me.
Right.
So, but it's really cool to be able to teach like that now. And I thought that's really admirable.
Another thing that people have said they liked about my channel is that I keep in all the mistakes I make. And I do that because I think that the mistakes that I make are learning experiences.
Oh, very much so.
Whether that's because I've had it where I thought this was going to be the right color and it wasn't the right color, and here's why it wasn't the right color. Or here is a mistake I made, and here's not to make that mistake. I'm a big proponent of really consider every color you put down and the shapes that you're making as you're painting, because you don't want to just go on autopilot, because if you realize you made a mistake, it's the wrong color or the wrong shape or whatever, you want to catch that as soon as possible. And if you're just going on autopilot, you might paint the whole thing and then realize, oh wait, this isn't right.
Crap.
So I'll always be conscious of what you're painting as you're painting.
That's I mean, you can go on autopilot as long as you if you figured out your basic colors and you're painting like 5 guys, you're fine. But
yeah,
no, that talking about mistakes, that's one of the biggest things that teaches you, and especially when you learn how to fix your mistakes, that's a huge teacher, via experience. I think people get the wrong idea that experienced painters were perfect all the time, and it's like no.
Yeah. I have now repainted the base for my Golden Demon entry. I think that I'm on my 3rd time painting it. And the miniature that I'm painting for Resin Beast, I think I've also painted 3 times.
What's Resin Beast?
Oh, so Resin Beast is put on by Creature Caster.
Oh, okay.
It is probably like the 2nd biggest competition at Adepticon.
Oh, they have multiples there?
Oh, yeah. So Golden Demon's put on by Warhammer, and that's like the competition.
Yeah.
But there are booth-specific, brand-specific competitions.
Oh.
So Resin Beast is put on by Creature Caster, and every year they have different sponsors. So last year it was Creature Caster, Loot Studios, Bestiarium, and then Dragon Trapper's Lodge. This year it's Creature Caster, Mindworks Studio, Tabletop Titans.
Oh, wow.
That might be it for this year. So yeah, so every year they do do different ones. And then there's the Worthy, which is it's all the Marvel stuff.
Okay.
I don't remember who it's by, but it's it's all the Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Okay.
And then P3 also does one. Oh. It's the smallest one. I've never entered it. I really don't know anything about it, but I do know that it exists.
Okay. A curious question, because just while I think of it, I've been meaning to ask somebody who goes to Golden Demon. On Sunday, after judging goes on Saturday night, like for the pins they give out now, the notable and commended. Can you pick your models up immediately, like once the pins are next to it?
So it depends.
Finalists, you have to stay for the awards.
Yes. Well, so if they usually do like a first cut, and so if you're not in the first cut, if you don't make the first cut, you'll be on the bottom shelf, and you can just come. I think that you can come pick it up whenever. I might be wrong on that. I've never got cut, so I don't know. then on Sunday, they hand out the pins and everything. And it's at like 10 a.m. on Sunday. You can pick it up, except for the top 4 or 5. And the top 4 or 5 are, you should come to the award ceremony. You might have won something.
Okay.
And if you are in the top 4 or 5, you can't pick up your model until after the award ceremony.
Okay. Well, we'll talk more after the episode because I'm very curious as to how all this works because I'm trying to get out to Golden Demon or Adepticon in March. So if I come out, I'd love to meet you and introduce you to my gal. I know she'd love talking to you. She likes your stuff. I was showing her some of your models and tutorials, and she thought it was really cool. She's when she has time, she's just getting into painting. So she really likes a lot of girl painters. Whenever I run across a really cool girl painter, I always send her the Instagram and she follows them. But yeah, I'll definitely talk to you more about it after the show's over because I have a lot of questions, and it seems like you'd probably be the right person to ask about them. Because they're very specific questions, and I've messaged Warhammer on like Facebook and Instagram, and they never get back to their DMs. It's wonderful.
Well, I'm happy to help however I can.
Cool. Going on the subject of painting, what paints do you like to use?
So I will tell you my favorite paints. However, I will preface this with the fact that I'm an extremely skilled painter and I can make a lot of paints work. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a problem as a YouTuber and doing paint reviews and everything, because it very much becomes are these paints actually good or am I just really good?
I had that exact question come up last night from someone.
But just like kind of a problem. But so my favorite paints that I use are Bear Cavalry. They are a very small indie brand in Oregon. Mm-hmm. They use liquid pigments. I will also clarify, I do work for them, but I'm not talking to you about them because I work for them.
I think I found their paints through your page somehow.
I've been working with them for about a year, mm-hmm. and I've only been using them for the past like 5 months because I wasn't really I liked them, but I have so many good paints. In order for me to say that I like a paint, it has to be really good because so many people have good paints these days. Like P3 got reintroduced about a year ago or something, and I made a video they sent me their paints. I made a video about it and said these paints are great, but lots of paints are great. So
they're still using the old 90s Citadel bottles, right?
Yes. Okay. And so, but anyway, so it takes a lot for me to be impressed. And mm-hmm. I wasn't, like I said, Bear Cavalry was fine. But recently, I've actually been using them a lot. These are nice paints. How lucky am I that I work for a paint company that actually does really nice paints? But so, Bear Cavalry I use a lot of. I love Chimera because they're so vibrant.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Duncan Rhodes, Too Thin Coats, I also really like.
That's Goblinoid Green.
Yep. And so, if I don't have paints, my last paint of choice is War Paints Fanatic, but that's mostly just because I can't find a color in any of the other paint lines that I named.
Yeah. My only gripe about War Painter is it stays sticky.
Which War Painter? Which one?
The War Painter Fanatic.
Oh, the Fanatic ones. They're just a thicker consistency than what I prefer. I like Bear Cavalry because I can use them basically straight out of the bottle. Mm-hmm. I like the Too Thin Coats because they're really creamy, and then Chimera is just so vibrant and thins down like a dream.
My gal, when I first started talking to her about Too Thin Coats, she thought I was saying tooth and coats. So it's turned into a running joke with us now. We went to their booth at LVO and last January when they were out here, and she saw the name. She's like, "I thought you were saying tooth and coats." I was like, "Sure, why not? Let's go with that, Pepper. Not a problem." And she's like, "No, it's too thin coats." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I know. I see how you screwed that up, but it's funny." I
also love the people at Too Thin Coats, Transatlantic Games. Mm-hmm. I have spoken to Duncan Rhodes. He was very nice, but I interact with the producer of Two Thin Coats more than I actually interact with Duncan
Ian
Rhodes.
Ian and his dad. I forgot his dad's name. Bob? Robert? Anyway, go ahead. Doesn't matter.
But so I, of course, had to go to the Two Thin Coats booth at Adepticon, was talking to the transatlantic paint guys, and I go with my husband every year, which as a side note is really funny because people always assume that I'm the plus one and he's the one that they should talk to. He knows nothing about miniature painting. Well, he has never picked up a brush in his entire life. And so it's always really funny to be like, no, like, first of all, talk to me. Second of all, I'm famous. God darn it, I'm famous. But anyway.
They see your husband's name badge and they're like, Lyla, that's a very feminine name for a man. And he's just like,
but
over there.
Yeah, but so we went to Transatlantics, we went to the Two Thin Coats booth, and they gave me a t-shirt, and they said, oh, who's this with you? I said, explain, this is my husband. And he said, oh, do you want a t-shirt? And my husband was like, you're offering me a t-shirt? So now he has a Two Thin Coats t-shirt that he is so proud of and loves wearing because he got recognized.
Nice.
You know, like endorsed by Two Thin Coats.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to send you out one. I've got to get some more shirts made for Adepticon. I'll send you. Actually, if I go, I'll just bring you one. But if not, I'll send you one.
Oh, awesome! Hell yeah!
I've been designing apparel under my own product line for like 20 years now. So I'm really picky on the blanks I use. Like my shirts are not like just dumb text, like just smacked on a shirt. No, it's actually like design and fun stuff. The first shirt I did I'll show it to you after the show. Let's just put it that way. I think you'll dig it. But yeah. Oh, hello, Jonathan Mev. That's a handsome name for a lady. Really? I got to picture that in my head now. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting when my gal and I eventually get married, because like at our wedding we don't want to, like, I go by Lennon Midnight, and that's actually, like, Lennon's my actual name, but it's my stage name and my artist name, and I've been calling her Pepper Belmont since I met her, because on her voicemail, the way she said her last name, it sounded like Belmont, like from Castlevania. So she's Pepper Belmont. When we get married, it'll be Lennon Midnight. Do you take Pepper Belmont to be your wife? And when we go to, like, if we go to like shows and whatnot, she'll be Pepper Midnight after we get married. So
yes. People joke they jokingly started calling my husband Mr. Mini Witch because they didn't know. They're like, is Mev really her last name? And of course my husband always says, yes, it is. But so they started calling him Mr. Mini Witch. And so I need to get him a t-shirt that says Mr. Mini Witch on the back. You should get him a shirt that says Misters of Battle.
So you actually went through both paint questions that I had. I'm kind of ill prepared for the YouTube questions. I should have come up with some. I do want to ask, like, as a YouTuber who has actually kind of made a career out of it, like, what are some of the biggest hurdles you faced that through building a channel?
The biggest hurdles I faced in growing a channel. I'm not sure. The proper question would be, what are some of the hurdles I face continuing to run a channel?
Okay, let's go with that.
Growing it wasn't really that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I posted to Reddit, I posted to Facebook groups, and like I did a lot of things that are now extremely frowned upon. So don't follow in my footsteps.
If you're whoring out like your channel to every outlet you can, there's nothing wrong with that. People who get annoyed by that, it's like, then block me. I don't care.
Well, a lot of
marketing,
like Facebook groups and such now, you can't post links.
Oh, I've noticed.
On Reddit, you can't just post pretty photos of your model because they're worried that you're trying to steal them and like point them over to your Patreon or your Instagram or anything. So you have to actually be active, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Like, you should be active on Reddit and answering questions and things like that. But it was just an interesting thing of like, I'm not sure if I can even post models I'm proud of anymore because I have to meet Like, I don't know if I meet the requirements. And so anyway, so don't follow in my footsteps. My footsteps are no longer available. But the largest thing, the biggest hurdle in continuing to run a channel is honestly mental health and everything, because YouTube does such a great job at putting numbers on everything, which is great, but also it's a very clear indicator of how much you have succeeded or failed. And so it's difficult when there's such clear-cut numbers, especially when those numbers just continue to decrease as miniature painting on YouTube or isn't as popular, or YouTube is pushing larger content creators. And even though I'm at 135,000, I am a small content creator. And so it's definitely hard continuing to feel like this is worth it because I was so popular. And so continuing to deal with I'm not popular anymore. Do people not want to watch me? Is it me? Do people not want to watch me? What am I doing wrong? Et cetera, et cetera. So that's the biggest hurdle to continue to run a YouTube channel.
Well, I have noticed the thing it's always driven me nuts about marketing on social media in general is that every year they change their stupid algorithms, like 9 months to 12 months, they change their algorithm, and then they expect you to figure out how they changed it. And you got to do a bunch of research, and then they really try to push you toward new features that it's like, I don't want to use new features. This is crap. Like shorts. I think shorts are stupid. It's short form content. It's like short form content is actually scientifically proven now to be what's called brain rot. And it is actually affecting an entire generation of kids. But
right.
I noticed over the last year with my automotive brand, I hadn't been doing much with it. Just I needed to get away for a year. I was so burnt out. I was angry at everybody. I didn't want to do anything with it. And coming back to it, trying to do my normal marketing strategy, I have noticed that like Facebook and Instagram have changed their algorithms yet again. Facebook's gotten even pissier about showing posts to people. And I'm an admin for about 6 different particular automotive groups that I post in, and I can actually see the view, like how many views just regular posts have gotten, like for sale items and whatnot. And I mean, it's way down versus a year ago, like on it, like some guy had post I don't know, like a set of wheels for sale, right? And it'd get at least like 1,000 views. Now it's like the same set of wheels, which for car guys are like shoes for women. Not being sexist, it's just they are like the wheels make the car. But the same thing now is same wheels. It'll get 20 views, 30 views. And my posts, I have same format. I know what words to exclude. I know don't include any numbers. Never ever put a web link in your post. Let people ask. I'd get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views on a post. Now it was like I think like the highest one was like 500. And Reddit really screwed up. Reddit destroyed their algorithm after last summer. For most of my miniatures, when I post them, I'd get between 800 to 1,000 upvotes easy, and that was a low count post. The highest one I ever got was like 2,500. It went for like, I think it was like June or July of last year. It went from that to barely getting like 200 on being lucky. And all these social media companies just make it harder and harder and harder and harder for people who are trying to make a living doing this stuff, like genuinely like wanting to give back, wanting to do cool things for people. It makes it harder and harder for us. And you also now have like with YouTube, the advent of AI, which is crap. All these AI channels that people are just like Major Kill had a big thing where he got about 15, 20 channels shut down because they were stealing his scripts, making their own videos and have an AI voice read it with, just Warhammer pictures. And he went after like all these channels. He went after about, I think 25 to 30 channels. He got like 20 of them shut down. So it makes that job even harder with this AI crap where it's low effort content. And it's really pathetic, and it's just frustrating. And having to constantly like relearn what these algorithms want and adjust and still keep your workflow it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a tiny YouTuber. I've only got 1,700 followers. I started this channel last year. It's finally catching on. But even me, it's like looking forward a couple years down the line. It's like, how the hell do I even compete with this?
Right. And I know I'm extremely lucky. So I was doing YouTube full time. I am now no longer doing YouTube full time.
You're doing commission work too right now, aren't you?
What's that?
You're doing like commissions now?
No, I am doing marketing for 3 different miniature related companies. So I work for Bear Cavalry, I work for a game called Grim Path, and then I also work for Base Lair.
Yeah, that's how I met you.
And even doing, so currently I'm like part-time YouTube and then part-time a marketing consultant. And I know that I am extremely lucky to even get to do YouTube part-time, to get to work in this field and make my full income doing miniature painting and all that fun stuff. But I loved doing YouTube and getting to teach people. And during COVID, so it used to be that doing YouTube tutorials was enough. And so like it would be a tutorial on web blending or a tutorial on layering. But the style of content that performs well has changed so much. And now it's all, I cut this $4,000 rare Warhammer robot with a chainsaw. Or, I stayed up for
rage bait. There we go.
Hours. What's that? Rage
bait.
Yeah, or I stayed up for 24 hours and entered this unit into Golden Demon or whatever. And so I have to do those sorts of contents to stay relevant. And it's heartbreaking because it's not what I want to do.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But also, I get to paint minis, so that's pretty cool. And I'm sponsored by companies, but then they want to have a certain number of views. And if I don't get the required amount of views, then they'll drop me as a sponsor. And so, like, I'm very lucky. I love my job. Oh my God, is it a lot sometimes?
Oh, I can imagine. That's the one crap thing about being a successful artist. Back in, I think it was 2012, I got rid of the moniker in my head, the thought in my head of being a starving artist. I refused to call myself a starving artist. I decided to become a successful artist. And just changing that verbiage in my head, the way I thought about myself, did help considerably. And to this day, I still consider myself a successful artist. But being a successful artist, a lot of people don't realize there is a huge grind behind it, no matter what you do. Promoting constantly, constantly pushing your stuff, constantly getting negative feedback from people who say, oh, that's crap. Well, it's like actually a good one. My gal suggested to me about people on Reddit who say, oh, this junk that looks stupid. What? Okay, where's yours? Oh, you don't have one. So therefore you don't get a say. But it is, go ahead.
My favorite comment that I have copied and pasted that I will reply to people who are rude to me on YouTube is, thanks for taking the time to comment. I really appreciate it. Every comment helps the algorithm and therefore helps me reach more people. So thank you for making me more popular.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I might borrow that.
Yeah. People get really pissy about that.
Boink.
Yeah.
Well, there's a stand up from not Kevin Hart, Diaries of a Pimp Chronicle, Pimp Chronicle Diaries. What the hell is his name? I can't think of his name. He's an actor, but yeah, he has a stand up about talking about haters, a joke about haters, and he's like, if at the beginning of summer you've only got 5 haters, if by the end of summer you don't have 15 more, you are doing your job wrong. And he's like, haters are the best things to have because it's free advertisement and it's their job to hate. So let them do their job.
I like that a lot.
Cat Williams. There we go. Cat Williams.
I probably have a lot of haters. So
yeah. Well, and the thing is, if you don't have haters for what you're doing it wrong. You can't, You can please most people some of the time. You can never please all people all the time. Mm-hmm. So there are, there's people that, like with my painting style, there's people that think it's stupid, that it looks dumb, it's too old, it's not ultra realistic, it's not grimdark. I don't care. I'm not after those kind of people. I'm after the people that want to learn. I'm after the people that want to have bright, colorful miniatures that look like they just came out of a damn car wash. I'm fine with that. Right. And you've got your audience for what you do. You've got the your blending style, the underpainting. There's people that really enjoy that, and you do it well. And you have a kitty. I wish I had a kitty still. I'm going to stop.
I know. I can't help but kiss him. He's just right here.
He's got a smoochable head.
Hi, baby.
So with a good one for you, with your painting, who influenced your painting style?
So I love Craft World Studios. Their use of color, oh my God, phenomenal. There is a painter named Peter Moorbacher who uses complementary colors. He's a digital painter. He's not a miniature painter, but really, really what I look for is interesting use of color. Because when I first started painting, I did not realize that I really love using color. And it wasn't until I started posting my miniatures on Instagram. And then I was flipping through my Instagram of, oh my God, there are so many hot pink. Like, apparently color is just my thing. And I didn't really realize it. And once it clicked that color was my thing, I decided I'm going to make this my thing. This is what we're doing. And so then I decided to push it so much further and make color my thing. So really what I look for is other people who are using color in really interesting ways. Chromatic Miniatures is another one who does absolutely gorgeous, vibrant colors. And so if you use interesting colors, then I want to follow you.
Writing that one down for you. Yeah, the color, it's just like anything else. Color is a language, and once you learn how to speak it in your mind and think it's actually, and the more you exercise it, the more you use it, the more you develop it, it becomes easier and easier to understand that language, and it is such a fun language.
So Miniature Painter gives us this interesting opportunity. When I'm talking to my students about it, I compare it to the difference between realism and believability. And those two things overlap, but they are not the same. And I say that because I like to paint believably. I don't consider myself a realistic painter. And painting believably is like, if I'm going to paint silver, why would I paint silver gray when I could paint silver blue or purple? And if I'm painting a red cape, I could do black shadows, but I could also do a really dark green. And so sticking in that framework of it being believable, but still being vibrant and colorful it's actually freeing. If you've decided that realism is not what you're going for, then it opens up this whole new world of possibilities of being able to play and have fun and not worrying about what do things really look like in reality. Yeah.
People have called my style cartoony forever, and a gal that I know on Instagram, she came up with the term for like the 90s style of painting called grim bright, and I asked her if I could use it, and she's like, yeah, go ahead. And so I've been using grim bright as like my definition for how I paint, because it's based very much on old heavy metal 90s style. And you know, like once you pick up a style and start working with it, you really like it and enjoy it, you know, like keep it and evolve it. You know, your painting's never going to stay the same. When you start out, like a year ago, the way I painted my Blood Angels is now, it's different than it is now. Like I'm actually taking it like the edge highlights a little bit brighter and doing the corner dotting thing with like the brightest color of the spectrum. So like going from like a orange red up to an orange up to a pastel orange, and then the final dot on the corners is the god tier color that everybody loves, ice yellow. But it's I mean, like literally you're just kind of going up and desaturating as you go up. And you know, when you get a style and you start evolving it, you know, and you learn how to work within that style, it's not so much about the realism. It's not so much about like photorealistic stuff. It's the aesthetic value of it. It's how much fun is the miniature to look at.
Right.
Like you can paint it, you can make it look exactly like out of a photo, but is it fun to look at? If the answer is no, then you might want to rethink what you're doing. But there are people who appreciate that photorealism. I mean, there's guys who are really big into the grimdark thing and doing the sponging all over the miniature and making them look all dirty and beat up. I'm just not into that. There's cool stuff to learn from it. Any style that you come across, there's always something new to learn in painting, which is freaking amazing. But the language of color and using color, and who cares about realism? Just have fun doing what you're doing. Because if you're having fun, you're going to learn way more having fun than if you're, having to drag ass through painting a model. That just sucks. You're not going to learn anything. You're just going to be like, I just want to get it over with. And then I'm going to go do something fun because that sucked. Mm-hmm. So have you, I think I saw some, you've done busts, haven't you?
I have.
What do you think of busts versus, I need to make a note of this to make this a question. What do you think of busts versus miniatures?
I love painting both. So, I like painting all different size miniatures because they offer different opportunities. So I like painting like 28 is too small in my opinion. I like painting like 32 millimeter models because they're small, they're usually faster, and like I said, I love doing the little itty bitty details. Mm-hmm. But on a bust, those itty bitty details are still available. They're just refocused. So it's like painting the different layers of an iris and how can I make this iris look like it glows, or what color do I want the iris to be? Do I want to have a dark purple on the outside that fades to like a gold? Mm-hmm. And so adding freckles and scars and things like that. And so I love both of them because they both offer different opportunities for me to get to do the little itty bitty tiny ridiculous things that I love to do.
I found I painted a bust for the first two busts for the first time last year. And I remember sitting down working on the Tau bust thinking, oh my God, there's so much room.
Yes, there's so much room to make mistakes. Like if you totally muck something up, it's not like when you paint not like when you paint a 32 or 28 millimeter model where you feel like, well, now I need to strip it because I've built up texture. Yep. There's so much more room to experiment and play. And so it's really freeing when you're painting something large. And that's also what I tell people when they say that they're intimidated or nervous to start painting something large. There is too large. I once had a student, he wanted to paint basically a bookend. Like it was a bust, but it was like this big.
Oh, like, and yeah.
There is a size that is too big and it becomes a huge pain in the butt. Yeah. So there is too big, but for the most part, don't be intimidated by a bust or a 75 millimeter figure. You'll be fine.
Oh God, on a bookend, that'd be ideal to use like oil paints on because there's so much room to work.
And it probably would have been better if it was really highly detailed or if it was detailed, but it wasn't. So like the eyes were just like concave. I was like, oh my God.
It's like, why are you doing this? Why? Start with something. Yep. Start with something a little bit easier. But hey, if that's what floats your boat, have at it, buddy.
I felt really bad when he decided. He's like, you know what? I think we're gonna do something else. And I'm like, I am so sorry, but thank you. Like, I feel like I have failed you as a teacher, but also like, for the love of God, it's a bleeping bookend.
I got it. You're fine. I'll edit it out. To kind of end this chunk of the show, you don't have to go into a ton of detail because I know like your YouTube tutorials really help spell out and help and tutor people. But from your own painting experience, what advice would you give painters just starting out to help them avoid the same pitfalls you experienced?
If you're having troubles dealing with opacity, add white. White adds opacity to any paint that you're using. So if you're having trouble, you were trying to do black lining or something and it went wide and now you need to cover it up, do white first. A damp brush works better than a dry brush.
Oh yeah. Not
for dry brushing, just like in general. Mm-hmm. For using a round brush. Have a good brush, clean it. Winsor Newton Series 7, actually clean it. I don't, but you should.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I think that's it. Use white paint, clean your brush. Practice on bases. That's one. Practice on bases.
It's not a bad idea. Well, and especially since the base is textured too.
Well, that can make it more difficult, but more importantly, if you're practicing wet blending, that's how I learned to wet blend, because I got tired of learning to wet blend on different models and then like ruining them. But I could wet blend on bases as many times as I wanted, and it didn't matter. And so doing layering or wet blending or glazing or whatever, practice on bases and you won't mess it up.
There you go. To jump into your Instagram feed, I'm because I'm well into season 2 now, I'm keeping this segment of the show kind of short because like, there we go. Talking about doing stuff on YouTube, this is the least viewed portion of my show. So, I brought up a miniature earlier. I thought this was actually really cool to show your progress, how you went from like 23 to 25, I think, or like a year later.
Yes, that is from 24. I actually continued to paint it. That's not even the final version, but it was the final at that time.
That's very cool. I'm assuming you used a lot of airbrush on that.
I did on the purple cloud shapes, but a lot of it was freehand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the highlighting definitely brought it out a lot more. It made a lot larger of a visual impact, especially on the vortex behind her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I jokingly call her Curse Baby.
Oh.
Because so I painted her. I entered her in 2023 into Resin Beast, knowing full well that she wasn't done, and I was going to finish her and enter her again the next year. The next year, the day before I left for Adepticon, I accidentally melted a glove to the base.
Oh, no.
Because did you know that super glue will instantly melt latex?
It'll instantly melt what?
Latex.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either. But yeah, it instantly, even the fumes will instantly melt latex. And so I melted a latex glove to her base.
Oh, no.
It wasn't a huge deal, except for the fact that it was the day before I was leaving for Adepticon, and I just decided I'm not doing this. And then I exploded an airbrush on her twice.
Oh God.
I had a faulty airbrush, and I didn't realize I had a faulty airbrush, and so paint exploded out of the cup twice.
You got backflow into the cup?
Yep.
Oh crap.
And then, I broke her at the hotel 1 year. And then I entered her into a competition called Dragonfall in the winter of 2024. Actually, I think I might have been finishing her up for Dragonfall. The judge picked her up by the plinth, and she promptly fell off the plinth and almost hit the ground.
Oh, Jesus.
The judge threw the plinth and caught her. And so yeah. And
at least you had a judge who had Spidey's senses, instincts.
Yes, but he chewed me out. He chewed me out for scaring him like that.
Was she resin cast?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so she's heavy.
Yeah. So, and I think that everything went fine when I entered her last year. I don't remember anything going wrong last year when I entered her into Resin Beast. But so yeah, Curse Baby.
At this point, you should never take her out of the house again.
A Varicose Volt wanted to buy her, and
really?
I said, absolutely not.
They're like 5 minutes from my house.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them get the museum open. I got to paint something for them. Like every single one of my miniatures I've entered, they've put a coin next to and wanting to purchase. But like everything I win stuff for, I don't want to get rid of. So I just need to pull something out, paint it, and take it over to Gary and be like, here you go.
That's exactly it. So this Curse Baby is the only one. It's the only one I've had the opportunity to get a coin for. But they gave it a coin, and I was like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, if you want over the summer, when they open up, I do want to go over there. If you want me to take some pictures, I'll take them and send them over to you so you can see what this looks like.
Yes, that would be amazing.
They posted some updated photos of the museum coming together. It's actually starting to look really good in there. They had, from what I was told, when Gary bought that building, like all of the, I think like all the AC stuff and the ducting had to come out. Plus they had like major water problems with the building. So like everything had to be ripped out and everything had to be rebuilt. So it set them back almost like a year and a half, 2 years to open the museum.
Oh crap.
Yeah. And it was just the museum portion of the building. There's actually two buildings. There's the classroom area, which is the front building, and then the building right behind it is the museum area. And I guess the classroom building was fine. It was just the museum area building that was totally wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they've just had massive delays, but everything's like fixed and going now. And they made a post of like, it was like Gary carrying the first batch of miniatures into the museum.
That's really cool.
God, and seeing his house in the Squidmar video, I'm like, oh my God, he has so many models. Like, where do you even sit?
Mm-hmm.
What's the? Come on, load there we go. This is the one that's on your the preview for this video.
Yes.
Yeah, I like your use of like oranges and reds, and even it looks like you have a little bit of purple in there for the shading. Oh
yes, purple is my signature color.
Mm-hmm.
There are many jokes of if you want to ask Lyla what color to paint something, the answer will be purple.
I gotta hook you up with Squonkles. You and him will get along really well.
But magenta, that was the secret to that armor.
Oh, okay.
Love magenta.
Hot pink. And I'm assuming this is like a kind of a big mix of colors, or is this all? Was this done using? Oh no, it's 2024, so you weren't using that new paint brand yet.
No, that is Chimera magenta, Chimera warm yellow, and Reaper brick red.
Okay. And that's a standard Custodes model with a head swap.
It sure is.
Okay. Is the head from Sisters of Battle?
It is not. I had one printed to that scale by a friend who has a 3D printer.
Got it.
Otherwise, I would love to enter that into Golden Demon, but I can't because that head is not Warhammer.
You could have just stuck it in there and just been like, yeah, you made this like 20 years ago. Yeah, it's from an old plastic kit. Yeah, totally.
I'm not about to have my work disqualified. Listen.
Well, my thing is, I doubt they're going to research it. It's from like an old like Wood Elves kit from like 30 years ago in like the 90s. They're not going to go digging through old white dwarfs to go find it.
Yeah, but it's a woman head, which makes it a lot more unique.
True. Or you could just say green stuff, didn't it?
Yes, I could, but I'm terrible at green stuff. No one would buy it.
Yeah, I've wanted to try not green milliput.
Mm-hmm.
I need to ask somebody. It looks like it's a softer compound.
So the main difference between milliput and green stuff is that green stuff is better for fine detail, but milliput is sandable.
Oh, it actually dries to a harder compound.
Right, so you can sand it, whereas green stuff you can't sand.
Well, that's interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've actually sanded green stuff. You just have to use a really fine grit.
Ah, okay.
So, like, I think I was using it was on the Space Wolf display I did for LVO. The 3D print of the leg had a giant hole in it on the side of it, and I filled it green stuff and ended up taking. I think it was a piece of like I started with like 250, and then I went to like 400 grit to get it as perfect as you can get it on the model. And it didn't want to pull out, and the sandpaper didn't chunk into it. I was just going real lightly with it. But I mean, if you're gonna try and sand green stuff, like 400 grit would be the way to go.
I don't even own sandpaper that fine, so no wonder I've been having trouble.
Oh, doing all the body kit stuff I have, like I'd start like slapping Bondo on, like filling in holes or reshaping something. I'd slap Bondo on, wait for it to dry, and then go after it. I'd start with like 80 grit, which is like strip the flesh off your skin with one swipe, and then work all the way down to like 400 grit.
Right.
Because at like 400, when you hit it with automotive primer, any scratches, they're so fine, the automotive primer is going to fill it anyway.
Right.
So 400 for miniatures is probably where you'd want to start, and then like maybe get into like a little bit of wet sanding with like 800 grit. Or no, you have to go like 600, 800. But I mean, you're talking about an area the size like 1/32 of an inch. That's tiny.
Right.
Oh, speaking of, I saw this really cool YouTube video the other day. Some guy actually took it was I think it was one of the old Marnius Calgars. It was the second version of him in metal, and it was him just polishing the entire miniature out to like a chrome finish for a display piece.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, it was so neat. I'm just like, I know everything you're doing, and this is just so entertaining. This is amazing, and it looked like chrome when he was done. He got down to, I think he got down to like 3,000 grit sandpaper on the damn thing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it was cool. And he actually, he busted out, for like his Dremel, like an actual buffing pad, and went at it with buffing compound to bring it out to like a pure mirror finish. It was so cool. I'm like, I didn't know you could get that old, like it wasn't even lead. It was called white metal. I didn't know you could get that stuff that shiny. That reflective. It was just delicious. Where's your, there we go. That's the Sisters of Battle I have on your cover too.
Yes.
I want that model so bad.
And that one has my famous Lyla white sclera with no pupil or iris in it.
It looks like she has pupils. It just looks like she's looking off to the right.
Oh, does that one have pupils? Maybe that one does. Maybe.
Since you actually painted her, is she resin or plastic?
Plastic.
Oh, that's an actual plastic kit?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think that she was resin.
Okay, because it was a short run, and like the two special edition short runs they did was her. That was from I think a Mark Gibbons drawing or something, and then they did that was definitely Mark. The Chaos Lord, who has his middle finger is the chain fist. You've probably seen it, but I know that. I think the Terminator's in plastic. I didn't know she was in plastic too. That's cool.
I'm looking for this model, and I don't know where she is right now.
Did Mochi steal
But no,
her?
I'm pretty sure she's plastic. And the more that I think about it, the more that I think that you're right. I think I did paint pupils on that one.
Mochi stole her.
What's that?
He said Mochi stole her. Your cat?
You know what? There's a reason that my office has a door, and that is why.
Oh, thankfully, when I got back into painting, like Gizmo and I still had Jackson at the time. Neither of them ever went on my desk. Well, they went on it like maybe once or twice, and I yelled at them. They never went back. But like they'd always like hang out on the there's like a waist level wall where my staircase is and where my desk is. They'd always hang out up there and just watch me paint.
See, Mochi stole a rare commission from me. The first commission that I ever painted, it was a very rare model, and he stole it from me and chewed up part of it.
Oh, no.
And it was my first commission. It was also a model that I absolutely loved. Like, it was the model that originally inspired me to start painting. It's called The Flower Witch by Kingdom Death. And he stole it and broke part of it, and I cried on the living room floor. Luckily, I was able to put it all back together, re-sculpt it with green stuff, and just never told the client.
Like nothing? No, it's fine. Nothing?
Nope.
And this is the other one that I put on the cover. I really like this model. That's such a cool vampiress count woman.
Yeah, that's the body, the head, and then the goblet in her hand. That's a kit bash. What?
Oh, okay.
She's from the Crimson. The body's from the Crimson Court. It's got Prince Duval. I can't remember that model's name. And then it's the head. Someone gifted to me because I was having a really hard time finding female vampire heads on eBay. And so there is the Vampire Lord carriage or something like that had a whole bunch of female vampires on it. And he found me at Adepticon and gave me his sprue of the female vampires off of the carriage. And so her head and then her goblet are from the carriage.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
What really struck me was I liked the way that you did her armor, like the non-metallic, and just like I like the separation lines on the very edges of all. You can't see my mouse. Just how you have these like really, really bright, hard separation lines between where like all the bends in the armor is.
Yes. Yep. I've considered entering that. See, I considered entering her into Golden Demon, but somebody told me she looks like Ronald McDonald, and now I can't unsee it.
Enter her. Do it. Get a pin for that at least, for the love of God.
Nah, I gotta work on my Freedoll chain maker for Warhammer Old Worlds.
Is that the one you sent me?
It is.
Okay, that's a neat miniature. I like that.
Yeah, she's so cool. Every time I see a female mini, I'm excited.
Oh, you'd have had a blast in the 90s when I brought out Sisters of Battle. I that's my second favorite faction in 40K, and like I actually managed to find most of mine. I thought they were gone, but I found I gave half the squad to my painting bestie. He actually returned them, so I have a full 10-gal squad now, and I still have all the jump packs, Sisters of Battle. So at some point in time, I swear to God, I'm going to repaint them. Mm-hmm. And I just recently bought it. But I'm sorry, the whole thing is, I think you would have gone nuts in the 90s when they announced Sisters of Battle. It was a huge thing. And they got their, I think they got their own, they got their own codex in the 90s too.
They reintroduced them, and they got a codex a few years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, speaking of which, it's actually nice that, like I inherited a bunch of my bestie's old Hammer stuff from the 90s and 2000s. And like in the 2000s, it's like the second edition codexes, when they first introduced those, they were so colorful. They had plenty of pictures in them. They always had a battle report in them. It was an art piece. It was fun to look at. And then in like the 2000s and I don't know, like maybe early 10s, they made them just so pointless. Like it was an army reference book, and that's all it was. There was no real color photos in there. There was no painting guides, anything like that. And then now, when they released the new Space Wolves last summer, I was super excited, and I bought the Space Wolves Codex. I mean, that whole book is a work of art. Mm-hmm. And it was so nice to see them return to form, because I have the second edition Space Wolves Codex, and it was like a direct continuation of second edition Codex. It was so great. I mean, it made it even better because there's so many color art pages. I think the whole book is in color for the most part, and all the models are displayed so well. There's tons of different battle photos, and it was just such a return to form. And I actually want to go buy more of the codexes now, just to have them as kind of like art books. Mm-hmm. And to finish the Instagram segment, what is your favorite model on this page, or on your page?
Currently, it is, it's a naked lady. So I don't know if you can click on it.
Second favorite.
Second favorite. Aw,
I don't want to get dinged by YouTube.
Well, how about this? There is a blurred version on Base Layer if you want to go look at it on Base Layer.
I can pull up Base. How do I do this? Hang on. We'll go to Base Layer.
It is a piece called Valhalla. I entered it into the Dragonfall competition. It's actually second row, second model.
Why did I just lose my interaction?
But so the whole thing for the Dragonfall competition is they really want emotion and story. And so I took this model. It's this one? It's that one right there. And it's blurred out.
Okay. Because
Base Layer contacted me and told me I had to blur it out.
Oh, did you see that bust I did of my gal Pepper with the one with the cat between her boobs?
That one does not ring a bell.
I posted it on my Base Layer, but I also posted it on I can only post it in like 3 places, but I posted one on Miniature Painters on Reddit, and it got deleted. It said it was not safe for work. I'm like, there's no nudity in this. Whatever. Yeah. It got downvoted to oblivion. Like it was like a 45% upvote rating. I'm like, okay, you guys suck. Whatever.
Right.
Go ahead.
But this one is my current favorite because I absolutely am in love with the colors. So that water, the reflection and everything, that's all freehand that I painted.
Oh, I thought she was standing in sand.
Nope, she's standing in water at sunset.
Okay, I really like your use of color in this.
But so Valhalla is described as being fields of golden grain at sunset, and so she is standing at sunset at her back. She's got 2 arrows in her back to signify that, she has had her final battle, and then the front is lit by twilight as if, the twilight of her career. And so having the duality of the colors and doing the blood spatter on her body, the blood spatter on the shield, the wood grain on the shield is all freehand and everything. I painted water droplets coming down from the bucket. And so I really like the emotion of this piece, the colors that I used, and then all the details that I painted.
Yeah, this is really cool. Like, you obviously put a lot of thought into this. This is really neat. I like this. It's so cool to hear when somebody has like such a detailed story like that about a miniature they painted.
Well, Dragonfall asked for story, and I gave him story.
I gave him a good one.
I took first in my category. I did not take first overall, but first overall, you win an axe. It's the equivalent of the Slayer sword, but you win an axe, and I want that axe. They've asked me to judge, and I've told them not until I bring home that axe.
If I win a Slayer sword, I want a working chain sword.
A working chain sword?
I want Ragnar's Frostfang.
And what?
So that way I can stand on stage and go vroom, 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 vroom.
I joke with my husband that the dream is to win the Slayer sword and then the Slayer axe, and then
that'd be cool, and have a display on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be bitchin'.
Right, and then it can be like, I did not buy those. I won those in a tournament.
Oh, the cool thing is, like, at least Games Workshop has never cheaped out about it. The Slayer sword is an actual sword.
Yep.
It's been that way since I think they started Golden Beaming in 88 or 89, and it's been a sword ever since.
And I have no illusions that I'm going to win the Slayer sword. I can hope. No illusion. But that axe, I'm going to have that axe.
Okay, Wayne. Oh, yes, it will be mine.
Yes.
I watched Wayne's World last week.
I love that one. I love that model. I photographed her 2 days ago
after
entering her in October. So that's why she's currently my favorite.
Nice. I spend like 3 weeks to a month on a model. I'm like, I don't want to look at this thing again for like the next 3 months. Get this thing out of my sight. I just throw it in my case and just walk by it and flip it off. Actually, when I did Lamardes, I actually liked how Lamardes turned out, and so I wasn't completely burned on him. But like when I did Ulrich Slayer, I'm like, I don't want to look at you for like 2 months. Just sit in the case. Just sit there. Leave me alone.
I could probably spend another 5 hours on this model because the reflection isn't quite right.
And I'm sure your husband says like, oh my God, that's fantastic. This thing is perfect. And you're like, no, I screwed everything up. Because I have the same thing with Pepper, and I was talking to Gobo Girl, and she said the same thing. She's like, oh yeah, I go on and my husband goes on to me about all the things he screwed up, and I see his models, and I'm just like, this is really good. I wish I could be this good.
Well, see, my problem is my husband's like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm like, not amazing enough. I didn't take first overall. So I took first in my category. This is the first time I've ever placed in a competition. And so I've entered a handful of competitions before, but so first time I've taken first, and my husband's like, how do you feel? And I'm like, didn't take first overall. Not good enough.
Oh, jeez. Well, I go like the LVO. We had 2 LVOs this year because the venue that it was at the Rio originally, the Rio gotten really weird about booking conventions, and like my gal she puts on events, like huge multi-million-dollar events, and she used to use the Rio a lot. And she was trying to put on the gala she was trying to use the Rio last year for our gala for our old high school that we both graduated from, and they were getting really weird with her. So she's like, screw it, I'm gonna go find a different venue, but. Las Vegas Open changed venues to the World Market Center, and it's actually pretty cool now. It's a big ass room, and it's actually like all the voices, nothing overpowers you. You can have a normal conversation, though all the voices just turn into white noise. But going into LVO in October, Oh, I was a wreck that weekend. Like literally, I finished the last Space Wolf for my display at 4:30 in the morning. LVO started. I got 3 hours of sleep. I woke up. I went to bed at 7 in the morning. I got up at 10. Was at the venue with my painting bestie by 12 to enter all my models, and I was just kind of a nervous wreck all weekend because I was like, I'm not going to win anything. Nothing. I've seen what gets entered there. I'm not going to win squat. Yeah, I come back on Sunday to pick my models up, and they're like, "Oh, here's your stack of coins that you won. Also, you took 3rd place." I'm like, I need to go lay down now, otherwise I'm gonna fall on the floor. So
congrats.
I never go in expecting to win anything and go into Golden Demon. If I walk home with a pin, there will be a little pee spot in my pants. I like that will be a dream come true to win something from Golden Demon because I've been dreaming about it since I was like 12. So I go into these events not expecting anything. I think my painting's horrible. I just, like you, I see everything wrong with the model. I'm like, I hate this thing. And then all of a sudden I wind up with a medal. I'm like, didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Oh, funny enough, we were talking about Vercos earlier for taking 3rd place from my Space Wolf squad. I actually won some cash for it. And I didn't know there was cash prizes. So like the Monday after LVO, I get a DM from Chris over at Vercos, and he's like, "Oh hey, where can we send your prize money to?" I was like, "What prize money?" He's like, "You took 3rd place." I was like, "Oh, cool. All right, cool. Here, send it here." I was just kind of dumbfounded. I was like, I didn't realize I won something like monetarily. You could have just given me the medals that I took and I'd just gone home happy. You wouldn't have to pay me.
Right.
Hopefully they don't watch this video. Maybe next time they won't pay me. So to round out the video, I know I told you before, is there anyone you want to give shout outs to? And you can include your cats.
Mochi and my cats Mochi and Cardamom for being perfect little terrible buttholes. My husband, Mr. Mev, for putting up with me when I go several days without eating and spend all day painting. And Allison Silverhair and Kelsey from Chromatic Miniatures for being my favorite con friends.
Well, that's cool. So there's I'll get the I'll get their names back to you so I can pull their social media and stick it in the video down in the information below. Where the like button is that everybody should be clicking on to, actually help my, podcast get shown to people, because I get like 300 views and like 5 likes. But so the last portion of the show is the mystery question. And because the filming of this is so late, I came up with a mystery question for you, and I think you'll like this. Who is your favorite comic book villain?
That would require me to know anything about comics beyond like Batman. So Catwoman, because cats are the best.
Okay. Well, I mean, she's neutral. It didn't have to be a villain. I get why you say it, because Catwoman has been a villain and she's also been a hero.
Yes.
So
the Joker's pretty cool because he's purple and green, and I like purple and green. There was
I forgot what it was in the 90s. I forgot what series it was involving a bunch of DC characters. It was almost like Infinity War with Thanos and all that, but in the DC universe. But like for some odd reason, like their souls they look like human form. They get locked up when they get captured or something like that, and somebody's in jail with Joker. And the guy's like looking at Joker, and Joker's smoking a cigar, and the guy's like, "You sold your soul for a box of cigars?" And Joker looks at him and goes, "Yeah, but they're Cuban." That one line right there just makes him one of the greatest villains ever. He don't care.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He don't gaff. There we go. So I don't have to edit that out. But to shut the show down, because I know you've got stuff to do, and also I need to chat with you about a few things after this, I'm going to shut the show down for the night. So thank you, Lyla, very much for coming on. It was an honor to have you on, and I liked chatting with you. You're actually a lot of fun.
Actually a lot of fun. Was this unexpected?
I don't know how certain guests go. Some they're sometimes they're just very tight-lipped and they're a little nervous, and you kind of have to get them comfortable. Other ones are like, "All right, let's rock, let's do this." So you're one of the ones that was like, "Let's do this, bring it on." Leroy Jenkins. Glad you got that reference. So
yes, of course. That's a classic that is used in D&D all the time.
You can judge a person's character by saying, yeah, all right, chums, let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. And if they just stare at you blankly, you're like, I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. So I'm going to shut this down. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Here are more episodes and other videos of mine. You know how this works. This is YouTube. But anyway, here's new videos. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.